The assembly will please come to order. The chief clerk will call the roll.
Assemblywoman Anderson, Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson, Assemblywoman Bilbra Axelrod, Assemblywoman Black, Assemblywoman Brown May, Assemblywoman Carlton, Assemblywoman Cohen, Assemblywoman Considine, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblywoman Duran, Assemblyman Ellison, Assemblyman Flores, Assemblywoman Gonzalez, Assemblywoman Gorlow, Assemblyman Hathan, Assemblywoman Hanson, Assemblywoman Hardy, Assemblywoman Howdigi, Assemblywoman Kasama, Assemblywoman Krasner, Assemblyman Levitt, Assemblywoman Martinez, Assemblywoman Marzola, Assemblyman Matthews, Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblywoman Brittany Miller, Assemblyman C.H. Miller, Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno, Assemblywoman Wynn, Assemblyman O'Neill, Assemblyman Ortlicker, Assemblywoman Peters, Assemblyman Roberts, Assemblywoman Summers Armstrong, Assemblywoman Thomas, Assemblywoman Titus, Assemblywoman Tolles, Assemblywoman Torres, Assemblyman Watts, Assemblyman Wheeler, Assemblyman Yeager, Assemblywoman Carlton, Assemblywoman Kasama, Assemblywoman Peters, Speaker Frierson.
Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May the record reflect there are 39 present, 3 excused. There is a quorum.
There are 39 members present, 3 excused. There is a quorum. The assembly will please rise for the invocation by Rajan Zed of the Universal Society of Hinduism in Reno.
I shall begin my invocation with Gayatri Mantra, considered the most sacred mantra of Hinduism. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. We meditate on the transcendental glory of the Deity Supreme, who is inside the heart of the earth, inside the life of the sky, and inside the soul of the heaven. May He stimulate and illuminate our minds. Namaha Purusha Datha Prasatha Taste Namosu Ti Sarvata Eva Sarva Ananta Virya Mita Vikrama Stabam Sarvam Sama Panausi Taosi Sarva. O Lord, you are behind us and in front of us. We woe to you on every side. Your power is immeasurable. You pervade everything. You are everything. Dyahu Santi Ranta Riksham Santi Prithvi Santi Rapa Santi Rusodya Santi Vanaspatiya Santi Vishwadeva Santi Brahma Santi Sarvam Santi Santi Reva Santi Sama Santi Redi. May sky be peaceful, may atmosphere be peaceful, may earth be peaceful, may waters be peaceful, may medicinal herbs be peaceful, may plants be peaceful. Badram Karne be Sarnu Yama Deva, Badram Pasye Maksa Birya Yatra, Sthirai Ranga Istu Tattvam Sasta Nubir, Vyasema Deva Hitam Yadayu. O Lord, may we hear with your ears, may we hear with our ears what is auspicious. May we with our eyes see what is auspicious. May we live the entire length of our allotted life, hale and hearty, offering our praises. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om. Thank you.
Thank you. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. I will now appoint Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno, Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson, and Assemblyman Ellison to notify the Senate that the Assembly is organized and ready for business. And I will also now call the Governor's office to notify him that the Assembly is organized and ready for business. The Assembly will stand at ease while the committee notifies the Senate and we are ready for business. Everyone, please remain in your seats. Welcome, senators. Please come into the Assembly chamber.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker and members of the Assembly. The Senate is organized and ready for business.
Thank you very much, senators. Thank you very much. The governor has also been informed the Assembly is organized and ready for business. I think that we can now go to order business 6. Communications, no? We'll go back to order business 6.
Office of the Governor, Steve Sisolak, November 12, 2021. The Honorable Jason Frierson, Speaker of the Assembly, Nevada State Assembly, 401 South Carson Street, Carson City, Nevada, 89701. To the Honorable Members of the Nevada State Assembly. As you are aware, the results of the 2020 decennial census were delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Nevada did not receive the results until after the adjournment of the 81st regular session of the legislature. The Nevada Constitution, Article 4, Section 5 states that, quote, "It shall be the mandatory duty of the legislature," end quote, "to apportion the senators and assembly members of the state of Nevada according to the number of inhabitants." And Article 1, Section 2 of the United States Constitution provides that after each decennial census, the representatives in Congress shall be apportioned among the states. Article 5, Section 9, Subsection 1 of the Nevada Constitution provides that the governor may, on extraordinary occasions, convene a special session of the Nevada Legislature by proclamation. Therefore, in order to carry out the duties of redistricting and reapportionment pursuant to the Nevada Constitution and the United States Constitution, I have issued a proclamation calling the legislature into a special session. In that proclamation, I call on the legislature to perform its mandatory constitutional duties of reapportionment and redistricting. Additionally, due to the late receipt of the census data, I request that the legislature temporarily adjust the candidate filing deadline for judicial candidates to coincide with the deadlines for non-judicial candidates for the 2022 election. This will allow election officials adequate time to prepare for the 2022 primary elections. Thank you, Governor Steve Sisolak, State of Nevada. A proclamation by Governor Steve Sisolak.
Mr. Speaker.
Assemblywoman Benita Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Order business 8.
Order business 8.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the Assembly dispense with the reading of the Governor's proclamation convening the legislature into special session and that the proclamation be entered into the journal.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll stay on order business 8.
Assembly Resolution 1, introduced by the Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections, providing that no allowances will be paid for the 33rd special session of the Nevada Legislature for periodical stamp, stationery, or communications. Resolved that this resolution becomes effective upon adoption. End of resolution.
Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Assembly Resolution Number 1.
Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson has moved for the adoption of Assembly Resolution Number 1. Remarks. Assemblywoman
Thank-
Benitez Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This Assembly Resolution provides that no allowances will be paid for periodicals, stamps, stationery for the 33rd special session.
All those in favor of adopting Assembly Resolution Number 1, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The resolution is adopted and ordered enrollment.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution Number 1, introduced by the Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections, adopting the joint rules of the Senate and Assembly for the 33rd special session of the Nevada Legislature. Resolved that this resolution becomes effective upon adoption. End of resolution.
Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Assembly Concurrent Resolution Number 1.
Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson has moved for the adoption of Assembly Concurrent Resolution Number 1. Remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assembly Concurrent Resolution 1 sets out the joint standing rules for the Assembly and the Senate for the 33rd special session.
Any further remarks? Assemblywoman Titus.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we strike Rule 13.4, subsection 2, which requests for the drafting of a bill setting forth specific boundaries of the state can only be made by the redistricting committee, its chair, the Speaker of the Assembly, or the majority leader of the Senate. Order of Business 15, Mr. Speaker.
Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Point of order that there's already a motion to be addressed by the body on the floor.
There is a point of order. We are considering a motion as we stand here. So the remarks would be on the motion as set forth.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, we'll go ahead and go for the vote, and we'll call for the motion.
Quick 1-minute recess.
1 minute recess. Are there any further remarks? Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If we are back in from recess, then the remarks were just that the Assembly Concurrent Resolution 1 sets out the rules, and so I believe we are at the point of the vote, unless there are additional remarks for the record.
Are there additional remarks?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would urge this body to vote no on this particular measure. I feel that it disenfranchises the populace and the members of this body when we break into a subcommittee and not have a committee of a whole on a subject that is this critical to the state of Nevada for the next decade. My second objection to this, the rule, which is why I urge the body not to support this rule, is under section 13.4, subsection 2, where the only folks that can request a draft of a bill of any amendment would be the committee chair of the subcommittees, the Speaker of the Assembly, or the majority leader of the Senate. Mr. Speaker, in this body, I feel that that totally disenfranchises the Republicans in this building and any other member, frankly, regardless of the committee or whichever party that you may belong to. So for that reason, I urge folks to vote no on this.
Thank you. There being no further remarks for the body's edification, I will point out that the rules that are before you today are rules that were before this body in 2011 when we last had redistricting, and I believe they were also before this body in 2015 when redistricting rules were adopted for the purpose of leaving open the possibility of addressing redistricting. So I want to make sure that folks understand that this is not a novel or new rule, but this is what this body has traditionally considered. There being no further remarks, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay.
Mr. Speaker, division of the House, please.
Assemblywoman Titus has requested a division of the House.
Did you guys stand up?
Oh. Assemblywoman Titus has requested a division of the House. We are having technical difficulties, so I'm going to do a count by virtue of individuals standing. There are 1, 2, 3. There are 15 nays, so the motion passes. Assemblywoman Dickman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just have a quick question. So will that be reflected in the record, who voted how?
Assemblywoman Benita Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think that would be a request for order business 15, and then you can ask your question.
Okay, thank you.
All right, at this time, I'm going to appoint the following members for a Select Committee on Redistricting and Elections, that being Assemblywoman Brittany Miller, who will be chair, Assemblyman Steve Yeager will be vice chair, Assemblywoman Teresa Benitez Thompson, Assemblyman Jason Frierson, Assemblywoman Sandra Howdiggy, Assemblywoman Danielle Monroe Moreno, Assemblywoman Rochelle Wynn, Assemblywoman Alexis Hansen, Assemblyman Glenn Levitt, Assemblyman Andy Matthews, and Assemblywoman Jill Tolles. Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Still staying under order business 8, I move that the persons listed on the Nevada Legislature's press accreditation list dated November 12, 2021 be accepted as accredited press representatives, assigned space at the press area of the Assembly chambers, and allowed use of the appropriate broadcasting facilities. This is a list of which all members have a copy of on their desk.
You've all heard the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. I think because we have some processing just for at least maybe 10 more minutes, we will be in recess for processing of the bill that we're going to introduce.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 1-minute recess.
We'll be in recess. While we are still in recess, there will be a behind the bar with members of the select committee, and that will still take place on the floor. So please don't go anywhere, but if the select committee can get to their seats and at the direction of the chair, be ready for bill introduction.
Okay, so members, if we could have you, while you're standing at ease, just keep a tad bit of good decorum. We're going to go ahead and do a behind the bar on the floor, the Select Committee on Redistricting and Elections. So for those who are on the committee, you will be the ones, doing the voice votes when Chair Miller's asking for those voice votes. And I think we've got Ms. Hofecker here for the roll call and all of that. So we'll hand it over to Chair Miller, and I think we've got broadcasting this also, so members of the public can see this process.
Good afternoon. I would like to call the Assembly Select Committee on Redistricting and Elections to order for the purpose of a bill draft request introduction. We have the committee introduction of BDR 34-8. Committee members, today we have one committee BDR that needs introduction to this committee. We would like this to be done today so that we can receive the bill numbers and have this referred to committee quickly. BDR 34-8 is a measure proposing the districts for the University Board of Regents and changing the filing date for the judicial candidates, just for the period of the 2022 election cycle. I want to remind you that your vote to introduce the BDR is in no way an indication of support. This is for the committee's approval to get the bill in process, assigned a number, and referred to our committee. Do I have a motion to introduce BDR 34-8? I have a motion from Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson. Do I have a second? A second from Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno. Thank you, and with that, the motion carries. We also have the adoption of standing policies for the Assembly Committee, the Assembly Select Committee on Redistricting and Elections. Oh, okay, I would like to take, of the members only on the Assembly Select Committee, a vote. All of those in favor, please say yay. Aye. Anyone opposed? And with that, the motion carries. We also have the adoption of standing policies for the Assembly Select Committee on Redistricting and Elections. Committee members, you do have those suggested recommendations have been passed out to you for your review. I understand this is the first meeting and it will be a joint hearing with the Senate Select Committee. Therefore, it will be easier for us to adopt it right now, our committee standing policies here on the floor, so we do not have to go into an assembly hearing and then into a joint hearing. I would like to note that these policies are similar to the rules that you have approved during session. Do I have a motion to introduce these committee standing rules? Thank you. I have a motion from Assemblymember Benitez Thompson. Do I have a second? A second from Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno. And with that, I will call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? With that, the motion carries. Thank you. And with that, this committee is in recess.
The assembly will come back to order. I'm waiting on her to get. We go to order business 9, introduction, first reading, and reference bills.
Assembly Bill 1, introduced by the Select Committee on Redistricting and Elections, an act relating to elections revising the districts from which members of the Board of Regents of the University of Nevada are elected, temporarily revising the deadline for a candidate for judicial office to file a declaration of candidacy and providing other matters properly named thereto.
Assemblywoman Brittany Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 1 be referred to the Select Committee on Redistricting and Elections.
Assemblywoman Miller has moved that the Assembly Bill 1 be referred to the Select Committee on Redistricting and Elections. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We will now go to order business 15, remarks from the floor. Assemblywoman Dickman, now is the appropriate time for your request.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I'd just like to request that the division of the House vote on ACR 1 be recorded by name in the official record.
It will be recorded in today's journal.
Thank you so much.
Other order business 15. Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I make a motion to recess the body, just wanted to give kind of an overview of what some logistics might look like. The Select Committee, the goal is for that committee to meet later this afternoon, hopefully in about an hour's time, and that meeting will be happening in 4100. We encourage all members to watch it and follow along in that hearing if you're not going to be attending it. And then we will stand in recess, which means we do need members available to come back to floor at some point later this evening to adjourn.
And thank you, Assemblywoman. We originally were under the impression that we were waiting for another bill, so we were going to have to stand in recess. That is not the case, so we can adjourn for today.
Oh, perfect, then we can adjourn.
If we could just adjourn and we can plan on being back on the floor for at least endeavor to be 9:30.
Yes, in the morning, yes. All right, thank you so much. Well then, given that, take 50% of what I said and just recycle it. We'll use it for another time. Take the other 50% and it's still appropriately retaining to this conversation. I'll let you figure out which part, members. So given that, Mr. Speaker, I'd move that we adjourn until the hour of 9:30 a.m. on November 13th, 2021.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.